Guys, we've got Louise as well on the line. Morning to you, Louise.
Morning, Louise.
Morning.
So, Louise, for the past 30 years, you've been suffering with pulling out the hair in your head.
That's correct.
Okay.
What would you like to ask the Speakmans?
Just if there's any sort of techniques that I can use to stop doing it, because I've tried relaxation therapies, I've tried keeping my hands occupied, I've went to the GP, but there's not much help from them. They've not really been able to...
You tried hypnotherapy, that hasn't worked, so you're kind of desperate now. You need something to change.
Yeah.
What you're talking about, Louise, is a condition called trichotillomania, and it's an anxiety disorder that's usually classified as an OCD. And so far, what you've got to consider is that what caused that condition, and you've got to deal with that, and then you've got to also deal with the habitual behaviour that follows. So, if you said that you had this 30 years, what actually happened 30 years ago that was traumatic in your life?
I can't pinpoint anything that's started me doing it. I mean, all I can think back when I was young was my mum and dad separating. They went back and forward a few times, but I can't pinpoint an actual moment when I started pulling my hair out.
You see, that in itself can be a big contributor, because any OCD, or in this case trichotillomania, is a way of gaining some control. And if your parents kept splitting up and then getting back together, that will give you a feeling of being out of control, and this is some way of being able to take that control back. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that in itself, actually, feeling that control then gives some comfort. So, and what you need to look at, Louise, is whatever happened in childhood, does that still apply today? So you need to consider those things. And the fact is that, you know, avoidance techniques and trying to hold your arms down, you will default back to pulling your hair if the fundamental schema or belief that started this isn't addressed. So the question is, you know, you may have been out of control as a child, and children quite often, when there's parental issues, do feel that way. But what you've got to do to update that schema, as it were, to bring it up to present day, is to realise, you know, that you are now an adult. I don't know your parents' situations, but hopefully, you know, they're happy, or that, you know, you're actually in control of your life. And that, I mean, as well as a trauma, it can actually be a form of self-harm as well. So if it wasn't from your parents, or if you felt that you had any responsibility for your parents, that could have caused equally school bullying.
And as a result, that you didn't feel good enough at the time, because, you know, your parents could have been splitting up, in your view as a child, because you weren't good enough. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So it's really just building that up and considering, you know, does that still apply to today?
And thinking about that now, are you more in control of your life now, would you say? You're not that child anymore who's sort of being thrown from pillar to post, not really understanding what's going on. Would you agree with that?
I feel as though I'm quite in control of my life, and I have been for a number of years. Obviously, there's been various issues, as everyone else goes through, but I just don't know why I'm still doing it. I don't seem to be able to stop myself.
Well, just two things that I just need you to consider. One, because is it punishment, and that there's something happened in your life that you felt responsible for, or did you feel out of control? And literally write those things down, how it felt in the moment, and consider how you feel now. And that should really help you to update how you're feeling.
All right, thank you. Good luck with that.
That helps, Louise.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much.
We're going to see you a bit
trying.
more yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Finished on.
They genuinely know where I live. OK.